Today on CityCast Boise, Molly Noda from Treasure Valley Reads is with me to talk about celebrating 24 years of being Boise's favorite book club and what it means to build connection through community reading. We talk about why they chose this year's book and how newcomers and refugees enrich our city. It's Tuesday, February 21st. I'm Emma Arnold, and this is what Boise's talking about. Hi, Molly. Welcome to CityCast Boise. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
So what is it about a bunch of people in the Treasure Valley reading the same book at the same time that's so special? Like, why should somebody do this?
It's very easy to just assume what can happen when a bunch of people come together reading one book, but it's such an interactive, dynamic, and a really fun way to build community. In simple terms, I like to say, it's like a big citywide book club, but there's so many programs to attend, both big and small. And it's really about community building for people who have been here for a long time, or people who are new to the area, or people who are even new to the country.
Yeah, Treasure Valley Reads has been around for almost 25 years. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So what makes this year different? I know you're trying out some new things.
So, yes, we have been here. I think this will be our 24th year. We've been the only community-wide reading initiative in the Treasure Valley since 2001. And this year features our first food-based memoir, or a foodwar, if you want to get really fancy here. So basically, this is a memoir about a woman who comes over from India, who is Bengali. There's an excerpt in the book where she's talking about how she's opening Land of Lakes butter for the first time, and she doesn't understand how to open it because she's always made her own butter and it's always bright yellow and creamy, and she doesn't know how to take that little perforated edge and open it up. So that was just such a evocative scene for me, and I think the book does a really good job of communicating what it means to be a newcomer. Boise is such a thriving city with refugees and immigrants and newcomers that it's surprising to me that this is the first time that we've highlighted this community. So that's a little bit different, as well as we're hoping to just have more access points for folks to engage with the program. If English is not their first language, we're still working on that, hoping to get interpreters and things like that in future keynotes and content. So yeah.
And this book you're talking about, it's called Kabar. Like you said, it has sort of food as kind of a main character, which is such a cool thing. And the author herself is coming to town, right?
Right. Yes. The full title is Kabar, An Immigrant Journey of Food, Memory, and Family. And Madhushree Ghosh is incredible. She is a scientist, a woman of color, and mentors lots of women of color in the science field. And she will be coming on March 18th for our culminating event, which is our keynote, and it will be at the Boise Public Library, the downtown branch, in the Hayes Auditorium. So we're very excited.
Do people have to read the book to take part in that event and some of the other events?
You don't have to read the book necessarily to come to any of the small scale programs. It might help if you attend a book club, but I don't think it's necessary. Basically, what we're doing is we are building a community of readers, a community of people who maybe want to come together to talk about culinary traditions. We'll have some events that talk about, people's historical recipes that they've handed down from generations to generation, because a big part of the book is about how food serves as a link to the past and a way to get to know people who are different from you, where you're at in your current home.
I'm wondering, so like it's all the libraries in the Valley, along with the cabin and rediscovered books. So how do you all decide like what book the community should read together? What went into choosing this book this time?
Yeah, we definitely have a diverse group of people on our committee. And I think every year we try to take a holistic view of what we've done in the past. And we really don't want to get stuck in one kind of genre or literary form. Big goal of Treasure Valley Reads is to introduce a new author to our audience, to expose, Treasure Valley residents to someone or maybe a concept that they normally wouldn't gravitate to, who is someone who we'd like to introduce to our audience, and is there an opportunity to touch on something that can bring our community closer together.
So what would you say like the goal is? Like what does success look like for you at the end of the year? Like at the end of this year's book club, what is success going to feel like?
I think that success every year is just getting the sense that we are building a community of readers, that we are building this idea that we can come together, discuss challenging or comforting or diverse viewpoints, and having a sense of community excitement around the program and the book.
Hi, Boise. It's Emma. You usually hear me chatting it up with our guests, but right now I have a question for you. Have you ever thought about advertising on CityCast Boise? Every day, this podcast reaches the people who care most about what's happening in our community. Our listeners are the first to try new restaurants and venues. They're giving standing ovations at every show and cultural event. They're socially involved and devastatingly cool. So why not put your message right into the ears of Boise's most engaged and passionate audience? You can learn more at boise.citycast.fm/advertise or send us an email at ads@citycast.fm. Last year, Republicans tried to criminalize librarians like yourself who might lend out a book to a child that like a parent didn't like or the legislature didn't like, with many of the books cited having LGBTQ themes, but that bill didn't pass. However, there's like a new effort this session. So this focus on libraries and librarians isn't going away. And I'm just wondering, what do you wish lawmakers understood about your job and the role of libraries in general?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we are always giving careful thought to age-appropriate materials for our libraries. And, we value an independent thinking public and community, and we select materials that reflect multiple points of view, and sometimes they are contradictory, but it's all so that Idahoans and Treasure Valley residents can read freely and form their own opinions. There's a long-standing tradition of librarians speaking openly with any concerned community member about the material that's within their library. We have lots of policies in place that also facilitate that interaction. And we trust in the ability of librarians and our trustees and our school boards to create collections that best serve their own communities. We're looking forward to working collaboratively with our legislators to discuss the value of libraries and communities throughout the state. And we really appreciate the opportunity to be involved in those meaningful conversations with lawmakers during this session. We're really just hoping to ensure that people have access to robust and enriching collections. And that's really where our focus is right now.
A lot of this talk has been about like parents who are worried about materials their kids might access. And you mentioned, you work with parents and stuff, but what would you say to parents who are worried about that?
I would encourage concerned parents to come to the library with their children and to have conversations about what is concerning in those books. I'd also, take it through the channels that are in public libraries with the policies that say you have a right to request reconsideration for a material.
Does any of this worry you that it could change what books are available for people?
It falls on the right of the parent to look at what is in their collection and what is in our collection, what is suitable for a child. And we don't act in place of parents. So if this bill were to pass, it could have a chilling effect for sure on libraries and collections, especially small libraries in Idaho, rural libraries in Idaho. It could definitely make libraries weigh the cost of potential litigation against keeping materials on the shelves.
Yeah. Do you yourself, just personally, does this stuff ever make you think twice about staying in Idaho and working as a librarian?
So I'm a community engagement librarian. So I'm out in the community quite a bit. And what I've really found, in interacting with the community, is that there's such an appreciation, an excitement, a love for what we do, so much more than books and material. It's a big part, but it is also building that community and working with them to figure out what resources they want and need. So I would never trade my title or my position. And in fact, it just makes me want to interact more with the community because I see people who really benefit and love our services and what we do.
Well, your love and care for the community certainly comes through. And, Treasure Valley loves their library, too. So I just want to thank you for coming on the podcast to talk about all this wonderful stuff you're doing. And I'm so excited to read Kabar with my neighbors during Treasure Valley Reads. Thanks for making the time for us, Molly.
Thank you. Have a great day.
One more bit of library news. A group calling themselves the Concerned Citizens of Meridian want to dissolve the Meridian Library District, claiming the libraries there contain sexually explicit material available to children. In our interview with Meridian Library Director Nick Grove last month, he encouraged parents to visit the library with their children and pointed out that parents can always check to see what books their kids have checked out. He added, quote, "It's our job as librarians to protect the freedom to read and to protect the First Amendment. We empower families to make choices for themselves." And here's a Boise pro tip. Your public library card has a lot more free perks than just checking out books. You can learn how to knit a scarf for your best friend. Curious about a new career? There's online career prep courses. If you need help filling out your taxes, librarians have your back. Always wanted to build your family tree? There's great genealogy resources. Or maybe you need a new Friday night binge watch option. You can stream movies from HBO and BBC. That's all for today here on CityCast Boise. If you enjoyed the show, why not tell a friend? Leave us a review and subscribe to our Hey Boise newsletter. We'll be back tomorrow morning with the do's and don'ts of backyard chickens. Bye!